we have to have it together to hear this? Is it too late, or have you missed it? It's easy to build an opinion based on an assumption. This is the very birth of misconception. This has paved the way for self-certified condemnation. Big word, what does that mean? Condemnation is saying you're not fit for anything. It may be down to your past, or your mistakes, or the constant circles of the choices we make. Let's break down the walls of misconception to enter through the four walls without condemnation. If you felt like giving up, if you lost hope, if you messed up again and it's no longer a joke, if you have finished the theories, analysing the trends, if you're tired and lonely and have many loose ends, then this is for you. Today you can come as you are, and every single day after. See, that's a price that was paid through what looked like disaster. When it comes to the story of our King, we often focus on the main thing. Today, let's look at us, shepherds and wise men amongst the flock. As he tends to his flock, his back begins to ache. Pain is familiar to him, daily he takes. His hands weathered from the grip of the staff. He's holding on to hope as they look and laugh. He knows in his heart he has heard the stories. He waits in hope amongst the list of nobodies. Could someone really change our future? I want change. I've heard the same thing again. Work till the day is dark and then the same again. Is there nothing more? Is it just all that we see? Are we bound by the five senses? Is this the definition of reality? Patience is tested on a daily basis. Stress of unpredictable time and spaces. We want to know what's next. Will it turn out how we expect? But this moment came with an angelic presence, an overwhelming, consuming, compelling light. It's illuminating hope. Meanwhile, the wise try and try. The wise men spend days wondering why. They ask questions, is he real? Tell me why, is it only pain I feel? They searched with underlying desire, that from their searching they will retire. Haven't we searched long enough? Haven't we been through enough? I don't want the same old thing no more. Come with your heart and forget before. Constantly battling with insecurities, always felt inadequate. How can someone like me feel relevant? Inferior complex and lack of confidence. I used the voice of fear as my guidance. Tobacco became the ultimate deflector. Worry became the source of the projector. Identity was rooted in pride. Fear impressed on me to hide. The only way out of depression seemed to end it all in a second. The loneliness seems to do the most damage. Popular with people, but the thoughts I could not manage. Thoughts came to attack, constantly reminding me of my lack. Comparing with others endlessly, I was covered in fear and jealousy. Just like the shepherds outdoors and attending the flocks, lonely voices is all that they got. Outside, cold for hours, thoughts wrecking the strong towers. Considered low and out of the picture, it feels hope has no permanent fixture. Jake tried to please the whole crowd. To their pressure he had bowed. He had heard of a king, but that didn't mean anything. Receptive to only the knowledge of him. Personal encounter, the chances were slim. Would he want him? Draped in mistakes, he still questioned the actions that caused the heart to ache. The wisest also know a lot of stuff. Knowledge we know simply puffs up. Study and research all the knowledge and facts. Identity became rooted in their acts. Wise men bowed to the pressure. Peer adoration has limited measure. Still the wise of the East persist. Knowledge won't save, but an encounter must exist. Still, wise in the palace or grafter in the field, the only way to encounter the king is to come as you are. Julie knew right, but was out of reach. Instead, she had herself to teach. looking to escape to find her own way. Lack of approval and value, she began to stray. Popularity has some rewards. It can play the sweetest chords. It's great being liked by the crowd, but to keep up, you need to always be loud. It leads to burnout without sound. Who do we trust? The one who is interested? She decided for her life in him to be invested. She married him and put up with his mess. This grown man who was acting like a kid at best. Immature and treated her raw. The cry of her heart grew more. Had she settled for this? A man who commits but then changes it. With abuse comes pain, and that can scar. But she wouldn't settle or take it that far. When he was gone, her focus began. In the arms of a father, she gladly ran. Life turned around, and acceptance received. Her gaze is fixed, and in him she believes. This example has happened before, whether in your life, mine, or those before. One thing is certain, from the choices we make, God's grace is near to relieve our heartache. Shepherds and the wise men had the same thing. They weren't perfect in anything. They hurt, they made choices from brokenness. Still God was near, and his birth took care of our mess. Maybe not everyone is perfect. Sometimes it looks good on the surface, but inside there's some disturbance. You can see that we were broken, lost, abandoned and unspoken. We just settled for less when there was more to progress. We didn't know that God was good. The knowledge we had was misunderstood. The reason why he came, it was for us. It wasn't down to our individual performance. So bring your mess, bring it all. His love has broken down every wall. Wide open spaces, it's free for all. Just come, turn up, rejection is gone. You're welcome, loved, forget the wrong. The past doesn't last because it's tomorrow soon. His ways are gracious, mercy-filled, light-fueled. Rejection is detected, in his light it's corrected. I'm loved before anything. I am loved and accepted. He's going to be alright. Things are changing, and it starts with me. Perspective has been hand-delivered to me. Come as you are. The truth is, we were lost, but now we are found. Grace came to enable this sound. The sound of chains breaking, earthquaking, renovating. The mind began reshaping. All past was wiped, all dark became light. We can taste freedom, we have our sight. Please, don't stand off afar. Hold our hands and come as you are. Jesus, his name means a lot, you see. His birth, his life is the reason I'm free. A life that came fueled with love and sacrifice, so that we may have a chance in this life. Whatever you have heard about our King, be sure of this one thing. His ways are rooted in love. That's the currency of his kingdom. With his life he has bought us freedom.